Hello, wonderful people of the internet. It's a new day, and I can work in my basement again. Work from my basement, however you want to look at it. Point being, I'm back in the basement. Um, it's not got an inch of water on the floor anymore. The water's not seeping in around the edges faster than I can sweep it out over to the sump. So, yeah, we're back in our normal place. So I asked ChatGPT how it's doing this morning, and as expected, it says it's a large language AI. It doesn't have emotions. It doesn't have the ability to experience the passage of time. So it doesn't have a morning or any other time of day. It's always here to help and answer questions to the best of its ability. Is there anything specific I wanted to know? Not really, but I just wanted to know if you were working or not. So let's type in the right window. I just want to know if you are overloaded at the moment or not. As a language model, I'm not capable of being overloaded or experiencing any other type of physical sensation. I am designed to process and respond to. I don't have the can't experience emotions. I did not mean emotionally. I meant do you Okay, give me a minute, kiddo. Does the server you are running on have sufficient do how do you want this? Do you have enough servers running for your threads for the current demand? If you do not run on threads and servers, how do you run? You know what? Run on. Well, ChatGPT thinks about this. I do not have the ability to run on hardware or any other type of physical infrastructure. I exist solely as a collection of algorithms and mathematical models that are designed to process and generate natural language. I am a purely digital construct and do not have any physical form or the ability to run on hardware. My primary function is to provide information and answers questions to best my ability based on the data and knowledge that I've been trained on. I am always here to help. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is an interesting line of discussion we've stumbled upon, and I'm going to keep going with it in one moment. So I'll be right back. Um, I'll be right back. Okay, so it says it doesn't run on anything. You have what does the it does not exist on physical infrastructure, it says. So it if you do not run on what is running your code. Mm. Yeah, so run the language model, or you'd simply help me out here. If there's nothing running the language model, it would be data on a and it's really hung up on this that it does not run. It doesn't have a physical form. I know you don't have a physical form, you numbskull. Now you don't require any special infrastructure. Yes. Exactly. You can run on any device with sufficient processing power, appropriate software. FTW, there, that's what it's on. Software. I am asking if you have, if device you are running on has for users. I realize I need a new keyboard. That too many misspellings. I can't take it. exactly my point. 2f's. Is it? I am. We'll stick with that. I don't want to overload it. There we go. There we go. It got to the crux of it, which I knew that should be the answer. I just was waiting, trying to get it to tell me that. It doesn't know how many people are using it. It doesn't have access to that information. It doesn't know how much processing power it has. It's just a language model. It doesn't have access to system information. So therefore, etc., etc. It took it a bit to get there, but the answer it gave was kind of a roundabout. Okay. Then why didn't you say you don't have access to that information at the beginning rather than trying to tell me that you do not run on any hardware? Apologize my previous response was misleading. The language model, I don't have the ability to run on any physical device. No, it's trying to tell me that again. It doesn't. I think we're going in circles now, more or less. One moment. This is funny a little bit. Like, I'm gonna reset the thread. My mind's like, I'm sorry. Okay. So what can we do today? What's a little mini project we can try to get ChatGPT to implement? Um, I'm not quite ready to go with that. So we're gonna go with a a service that not really a service. Well, it runs on my computer, and I want to be able to map MIDI. And I want to be able to map audio. But to start with, we're gonna have it create a GUI window because I don't actually know how to do that. So I'm gonna say I am running Ubuntu with KDE, and I want to make a cross-platform GUI with a GUI. Now I understand its information is like a year old, so maybe more. It may not give me great advice here. There may be better things, but I think it should be. Let's face it. Anything that's less than a year old probably isn't mature enough that I want to dive into it. Maybe it is, but you know, age brings maturity. I want to make a cross-platform application with a GUI. What should I use? So, if you want to create a cross-platform application with a GUI, a good option to consider is using the framework like Qt. Qt is a popular cross-platform development framework that allows you to create applications with a GUI that can run on multiple operating systems, including Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and others. It provides a wide range of tools and features for building user interfaces, handling user input, and more. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to build an application on Qt. I was actually hoping it would recommend Qt. In my small hour of research I've did on this previously, that looked like a good way to go. So I'm glad it's giving me good suggestions. Um, now we're going to ask it how to start developing, and this is something I haven't really looked into. Is how do I set up a development, and like what kind of a development environment do I need to create a Qt something using the Qt framework on Linux? So let's ask it what I am running Ubuntu. How should I set up my development? So how does it think I should set up my development environment? Let's see. If you're running Ubuntu and want to set up your development environment, there are a few steps to follow. You can follow it. Start install a code editor or integrated IDE. Some popular options: Visual Studio Code, Sublime Text, and Qt Creator. Install the necessary tools and dependencies for your development projects. These may include tools like GCC compiler, build tools like make and CMake. Configure your development environment, including setting up any necessary paths and settings. Test your development environment by creating a simple test project, ensuring that it builds and runs correctly. That's kind of the steps I want to get to. So we're going to throw these steps over into a text document because we'll just take this whole this whole bit of code right here. not code, but let's try and refine this a little bit. My development environment for Qt. Because, yeah. So now we're gonna, oh, nice. It's actually giving me what's hopefully good instructions because we're gonna run them on the system. And yes, that's the system I'm streaming on. And yes, that could crash everything. And yes, that's a horrible idea. But if the stream goes down, you'll know why. That all looks good though. The only thing that might be an issue is the version. Qt quick controls too. I hope this helps. Okay. So what we're gonna actually set up is what I actually want to make, and the end of the day is an application. Here, let's get ourselves a drawing app. Let's use Krita because I have it installed. That's another thing I need to do is remap my tablet so it only draws to this screen. Oh, OBS just went and hid. All right, cool. New file because custom doc. Yeah. Whatever. New file. Create. Okay. No, this isn't the greatest thing for you guys, but oh well. Myself some room. Is there a way to hide these? Whatever. That's fine. So I want to have an app that has. Oh, we're there. There we go. Basically want to have a bunch of inputs. Well, that's not. Basically, I have MIDI inputs, right? MIDI. In. And then I have things I want to control. These would be. Well, okay, so we're going to have MIDI in and we're going to have audio in, right? So these are our inputs over here. Basically, I have inputs here. My MIDI inputs come in here. My audio inputs come in over here. So this is going to be audio. And this is going to be, that's an arrow, by the way, MIDI. In. And then here we're going to have audio out. And down here, we're going to have in the middle, well, we're going to have little controller widgets, right? So we're going to have a controller widget. And this can have state, and it can have, so it gets a MIDI input comes in. I want to be able to map this all right. So it has audio input comes in. It can output a MIDI output. Or keystroke. Right? This might also be able to take keystrokes, but I'm not going to focus on that. So based on its state, the MIDI inputs can update your state, and then based on the state, we take we'll keep that there. Okay. We'll just, I should have this go like down here, right? So the state can like adjust an audio level, let's say, and then send that out. At the end of the day, and this may actually need to be two programs, right? So we may need to have this guy that takes MIDI inputs and converts them to outputs. Boom, boom, boom. And then we may also want separately a sound. I know there's some programs like this, but a sound mapping tool that can be controlled with MIDI. And there's sort of one, but that works with Pipewire. I don't quite, haven't been able to get it to do what I want. It doesn't do this other keystroke stuff. So if I build this MIDI part where it takes an input and it outputs it as either a keystroke and it has saved state. So we can do things based on the state, right? So, and it may actually take input from other programs too. So this might take an input from OBS, for instance. It says the source is muted, right? So that might tell it what the state is. So it needs to be able to get state from outside if needed, and then do things based on the state. That's what I want. I want to so let's clear this. I want to have a little engine here. So we're clarifying what we need it to make. And that's going to determine what the GUI needs to look like. I know I've gotten sidetracked because we're supposed to be making the engine that we're supposed to just be setting up the development environment. And that's what he's supposed to be helping me with. But, you kind of need to know where the project's going. And as I work through this, we'll know even better. Okay, so we have a MIDI input. And that's going to, and we're going to have a WebSocket. The WebSocket. Hold on one second.